There's no point in being grown up if you can't act childish sometimes. The Fourth Doctor. Hello everyone, my name's Elspeth, welcome to the Planeswalker Pantheon, and today I am opening up a collector booster box of Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond Doctor Who. Let's get into it, shall we? Now, personally, Doctor Who was never really something that entered my sort of sphere. Like, I'm aware of it and I'm familiar with it, you know. But yeah, it was just never something that sort of entered my my sphere, so to speak. But like when I mentioned, you know, because this is something, obviously Magic's something that I'm very passionate about. When I talked about this with people who really love and enjoy Doctor Who, they're so quick with recommendations of where to start or like which Doctors to watch or favourite episodes, and I hope to have that sort of similar thing someday with someone else, you know. Like, I mean, with Fallout coming out, like, I'm not a big Fallout fan, not the huge like Fallout lore person, but like I know of the games and I enjoy the games. I was never a big 40k person, but just seeing some of the things that are coming up with Universes Beyond, I'm really excited. But enough about that. Let's get into some timey-wimey, shall we? We'll crack these packs. Wonderful image of the TARDIS right there, and we will start with this pack right here. Why am I struggling today? These packs. Alright, there we go. Sometimes you just need one little opening. One little tiny opening to get in there, because my gosh, these packs are hard to open. Got, so, planes. We have the Seventh Doctor, 3 white and blue for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor, 3/6. When it attacks, choose a card in your hand. Defending player guesses whether that card's mana value is greater than the number of artifacts I control. If they guess wrong, I may cast without paying the mana cost. You don't cast a spell this way. Investigate. God, don't blink. Oh, we've got the Snarls. So it's the Strixhaven land cycle, so this is the one for blue and green. When it enters, reveal a forest or island from your hand. If you don't, it comes into play tapped. Rose Tyler, 1 and a white for a legendary creature, human, 2/2. Rose gets +1/+1 for each time counter on it. Bad Wolf, whenever Rose attacks, put a time counter on it for each suspended card you own and each other permanent you control with a time counter on it. And Doctor's Companion. Sisterhood of Khan, 1 and a green for a cleric, it's 0/0, enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it, and it has Paradox. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, double the number of +1/+1 counters on the Sisterhood. Confession Dial, full extended art, 3 mana for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you surveil 3. Tap to have target legendary creature card in your graveyard gain escape until end of turn. The escape cost is equal to its mana cost plus 3 other exile 3 cards from your graveyard. We have Lava Claw Reaches, the original Zendikar creature land. Enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add black or red, and for 1 red and black, until end of turn becomes a 2/2 with 2/2 with X. This creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn. Jamie McCrimmon, 2 and a green for a legendary creature, human warrior, 2/2 with trample. When you cast a historic spell, Jamie gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is that spell's mana value. River of Tears, tap to add blue. If you've played a land this turn, add black instead. Ace, Fearless Rebel, 3 and a green for a legendary creature, human rebel, to 2/2 with Nitro 9. Whenever Ace attacks, you may sacrifice an artifact. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Ace, Fearless Rebel, then it fights up to 1 target creature defending player controls. Exotic Orchard, tap to add 1 mana of any colour that a land an opponent controls would produce. Donna Noble, 3 in red for a legendary creature, human, 2/4 with Soul Bond. When Donna or a creature it's paired with is dealt damage, Donna deals that much damage to target opponent and Doctor's companion. Ooh, we're getting to the... I love these frames, by the way. We've got the Weeping Angel, 1 blue and a black for an artifact creature, Alien Angel. It's a 2/2 flash, first strike, and vigilance. When an opponent casts a creature spell, it isn't a creature until end of turn. If Weeping Angel would deal combat damage to a creature, prevent that damage and have that creature's owner shuffle it into their library. We have the 10th Doctor. Of course, who doesn't love a little bit of David Tennant? 3 blue and red for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. It's a 3/5 with Allons-y. Whenever you attack, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. Put 3 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. And timey-wimey. 7 mana, time travel 3 times, activate only as a sorcery. And we have the Alien Angel and the Dinosaur. Right there. Next one up. But yeah, like 10th Doctor was probably like the first one I sort of really became aware. It was probably 9th as well a little bit, but no, sorry, it would have been 10 or 11 if I had to sort of put a particular sort of timestamp, I guess, on when I sort of was like, okay, this is something I could get into. Yes, I know what that makes me. I know I can hear the comments already saying, oh, you gotta watch this Doctor, and this Doctor's the best. I can hear the debates happening in the comments. Got another Plains. The 4th Doctor, 2 green and blue for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. It's a 4/4. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. And it has, would you like a, once each turn you may play a historic land or cast a historic spell from the top of your library. When you do, create a food token. Shadowblood Ridge, 1 to tap, to add black and red. Time Lord Regeneration. I love this artwork. Oh, we got one of the Soul Rings. Very nice. Into the Time Vortex, 4 and a red with the source with Cascade and Rebound. Ooh wee. Vestron Mentropa Leader, X green and white legendary creature, alien insect scouts, 0/0 with flying. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, and when it enters, create X/1/1 green and white alien insect creature tokens with flying. Whenever you attack with 1 or more insects, put a +1/+1 counter on each of them. Oops. Ooh, Horizon Canopy. Tap pay a life to add green or white. 1 tap sacrifice the canopy to draw a card. Night Owl Resourceful Cyborg. 1 and a blue for a legendary artifact creature scientist. It's a 1/2. Tap to add blue for each counter on Night Owl. Spend this mana to only cast non-creature spells and has Undying. Temple of Enlightenment. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1, tap to add white or blue. The Sound of Drums. 2 and a red for an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature is goaded. If enchanted creature would deal combat damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage instead. And 2 and a red to return the Sound of Drums from your graveyard to your hand. Ooh, Heroic Intervention with that Surge foil artwork. I mean, if you play Commander, you know what this does. 1 and green, permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Ooh, and Beast Within. We have the Master Galfrey's End. 2 black and red for a legendary creature, Time Lord Rogue with Make Them Pay. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, choose an opponent with the most life among opponents. That player faces a villainous choice. They lose 4 life, or you create a token that's a copy of that card. Ooh, we have a foil 5th Doctor in this frame. 2 white and blue for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. It's a 2/2 with Peaceful Coexistence. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control that didn't attack or enter the battlefield this turn. Untap those creatures. And we have a warrior token and a beast. Actually, you know what? We'll do this. Normal, foily stuff. And then we'll have the Doctor Who frames. Like that. There we go. There we go. So at least got some kind of piling going on. Next one up. But yeah, like seeing the lead up to this and seeing in particular Gavin Verhey just being so excited. Like, he's excited for a lot of Commander products. He's excited for a lot of things. But you could tell that this particular project was kind of this was a big deal for him. you know, just as not just as a magic creator and a designer, but like to bring, like, how often do you get to say that I managed to bring one of my favorite things in the world into another thing that I love just as much? Got a new island. We have the 13th Doctor. 1 green and blue for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. 2/2 with Paradox. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And Team TARDIS, at the beginning of your end step, untap each creature you control with a counter on it. Visitor Tulo. 3 and a black for a legendary creature, Rogue. It's a 2/5. Deal with the Black Guardian. When Vizlord Tulo enters the battlefield, you may have an opponent gain control of it. If you do, it's goaded for as long as they control it. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card, and then you lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand with Doctor's Companion. Ace's Baseball Bat. 2 mana for a legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+0. As long as the equipped creature is attacking, it has first strike and must be blocked by a Dalek if able. Equipped to a legendary creature for 1 or equip 3. Ecstatic Beauty. 2 and a red for a sorcery. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play those cards until end of turn. Put 4 time counters on each of those cards that has Suspend. And suspend 4 for a single red. We have Rootbound Craig. So it's enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain or a forest. So this is the original Innistrad dual lands. Last Night Together. 3 red and green for a sorcery. Choose 2 target creatures, untap them, put 2 +1/+1 counters on them. They gain Vigilance, Indestructible, and Haste until end of turn. After this main phase is an additional combat phase. Only the chosen creatures can attack during that combat phase. Stormcarved Coast. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. This is from Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow this cycle. We have read the 7th Doctor already, so I won't go through that again. Cinderglade from Battle for Zendikar, enters battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. We have the 3rd Doctor. 2 green and blue for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. It's a 2/2 with trample. It gets +1/+1 for each non-creature token you control. When the 3rd Doctor enters the battlefield, create your choice of a clue, a food, or a treasure token. Very nice. Oh, when I saw this artwork for Solemn, I actually nearly cried. We know what Solemn does. 4 mana, artifact creature golem to 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle, and when it dies, you draw a card. But it's an actual sad robot! Rather than it being a sort of a gag. Quantum Misalignment. 4 and a blue for a sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it isn't legendary, and you can rebound it. We have the 12th Doctor. 3 blue and red for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. It's a 4/4. When the first spell you cast from anywhere other than your hand each turn, each turn has Demonstrate. When you copy a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on the 12th. And we have the 1st Doctor. 1 white and blue, legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. 2/2. When is the battlefield, search your library and your graveyard for a card named TARDIS. Reveal it and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. When you cast a spell with Cascade, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature. And we have the horse and food. Of course, fish fingers and custard. You know, part of any healthy Time Lord's diet. I've got a swamp. Got the 3rd Doctor. Zygon Infiltrator. 2 and a blue for a creature. Actually, it's uncommon. Got Thriving Grove. Finally, we're starting to actually hit commons, because my gosh. Clock Spinning. Nice reprint. Clara Oswald. 6 mana for a legendary creature, Human Advisor. 2/6 with Impossible Girl. If Clara is your commander, choose a color before the game begins. Clara is the chosen color. If a triggered ability of a Doctor you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. And Doctor's Companion. The Fugitive Doctor. 3 red and green for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. It's a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, you investigate, and when it attacks, you may sacrifice a clue. When you do, you target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard and splash black 2 red and green until end of turn. Sungrass Prairie. 1 mana to filter for green and white. The Master formed anew, blue and a black for a legendary creature, Time Lord Rogue. It's a 0/1 with body thief. When you cast this spell, you may exile a creature you control and put a takeover counter on it. You may have the Master formed anew enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature card in exile with a takeover counter on it. We have Farewell. Even I remember hearing the I don't want to go line and just sort of seeing that clip, and it's heartbreaking, just to say the least. Jamie McCrimmon, Vine Glimmer Snarl, Susan Foreman, 1 and a green for a legendary creature, Time Lord. It's a 1/1. If you would planeswalk and settle the top 2 cards of the planar deck, put one on the bottom of your planar deck and the other on top, and planeswalk, tap to add green and Doctor's Companion. We have, of course, the 10th. We have Cyberman Patrol. That Farewell was meant to be here. Cyberman Patrol, and a Soldier and Mark of the Rhino. I kind of want to go through and watch Doctor Who. If you've got any recommendations of where to start. I know we've got a new Doctor. Like, I'm tangentially aware that we've got a new Doctor coming. So maybe I might start with that. Who knows? But if you have, like, sort of episodes I can watch that don't necessarily you don't need to have, like, context or watch a full season, say. And they're just, like, good, sort of evergreen episodes of Doctor Who. Please put them in the comments, because I do want in on this a little bit. Got a Forest. We have the second Doctor. 2/1 blue for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. It's a 2/4. Players have no maximum hand size, and how civil of you. At the beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card. Each opponent who does can't attack you or permanents you control during the next turn. Psychonauts Commander, 2 black and red for a creature, alien soldier. It's a 4/2 with first strike and haste. With sanctified rules of combat, when Psychonauts Commander enters the battlefield, each opponent faces a villainous choice. That opponent discards all the cards in their hand, then draws that many -1, or it deals damage equal to that player, equal to the number of cards in their hand. Galfrey Stands, 4 white and blue for a legendary enchantment, and enters the battlefield. Return all Doctor cards from your graveyard to your hand. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a Doctor creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Then, if you control 13 or more Doctors, you win the game. 5 color Doctors. We have the Face of Bo, 1 blue, red, and white for a legendary creature, alien Vice, and 0/4. Tapped, you may cast a spell with Suspend from your hand. If you do, pay its Suspend cost rather than its mana cost. Activate only as a sorcery. Got the Talisman. Got the 5 Doctors. 5 and a green with Kicker 5 for a sorcery. Search your library and or graveyard for up to 5 Doctor cards, reveal them and put them into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. If this spell was kicked, put those cards onto the battlefield instead of putting them into your hand. Day of Destiny, 3 and a white for a legendary enchantment, and legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. Romana 2, 3 and a white for a legendary creature, Time Lord Scientist, 3/3 with Vigilance, 1 and tap to create a tapped token that's a copy of target token that entered the battlefield this turn, and Doctor's Companion. Darkwater Catacombs, 1 mana to filter for a blue and a black. The Paradoxia, 2 and a white for a legendary artifact. You may choose not to untap this during your untap step. 1 and a white tap to untap another target non-land permanent, then it phases out. It can't phase in for as long as it remains tapped. Then when it becomes untapped or leaves the battlefield, that permanent phases in. Activate only as a sorcery. Got Thespian Stage, tap to add colors, or 2 mana and tap to become a copy of target land. Inspiring Refrain, 4 and 2 blue for a sorcery. Draw 2 cards, exile the refrain with 3 counters on it, or you can suspend 3 for 2 and a blue. Got the 7th Doctor, and foil 12th Doctor, and Alien Rhino, and Treasure. Next one up. Got Swamp. Got the 9th Doctor. Actually, I'm kind of vaguely familiar with the 9th. 1 blue and red for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor, 2/4 with haste, with Into the TARDIS. Whenever the 9th Doctor becomes untapped during an untapped step, an additional upkeep step after this step. Clockwork Droid, Jamie McCrinnon, Nanogene conversion, 3 and a blue for a sorcery. Choose target creature you control. Each other creature becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn, except it isn't legendary. The 12th Doctor, which maybe it might be from the 12th as well. Anyway, the 2nd Doctor, Inspiring Refrain. Delete X and 2 red for a sorcery. It deals X damage to each non-artifact creature and each player. Sunken Hollow, the blue-black Battle for Zendikar land. Vestron Mentropa Leader, which we've seen before. Fortified Village from Zendikar. Shadows. Command Tower, always nice to have more command towers. We have the 6th Doctor. 4 green and blue for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. Whenever you cast a historic spell, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. This ability only triggers once each turn. We have a foil of the War Doctor. 2 red and white for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. It's a 3/5. Whenever one or more other permanents phase out, and whenever one or more other permanents are put into exile from anywhere, put a time counter on the War Doctor. Whenever the War Doctor attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of time counters on it to any target. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile instead. And we have, ooh, a nice copy and a treasure. I'll fix up those foilings later. More forests. The 11th Doctor. 1 blue and white for a legendary. Might have opened an 11th. I've lost track of which Doctors have opened. 1 white and blue for a 3/2 legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. With I Am Talking. Whenever the 11th Doctor deals combat damage to a player, you may exile a card from your hand with a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend, and 2 mana with target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. Galfrey Council Chamber. When it enters the battlefield, you surveil 1, tap for colors, or tap to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana to only cast a Time Lord or alien spell, or activate an ability of a Time Lord or alien. Horizon Canopy, always nice to see more of those. Sky Cloud Expanse. Jenny Flint, 1 blue and red for a legendary creature, human detective 2/2. Partner with Madame Vastra. First strike and training. Whenever you sacrifice a clue or food, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. Sally Sparrow, 2 white and blue for a legendary creature, human detective. May cast creature spells as though they had flash. Whenever one or more other creatures you control leave the battlefield, investigate. This ability triggers only once each turn. Waterlogged Grove, more Horizon lands. We always like to see those. Martha Jones, 2 and a blue for a legendary creature, human cleric, 3/2 with Woman Who Walked the Earth. When Martha Jones enters, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, Martha and up to 1 other target creature can't block this turn with Doctor's Companion. Creeping Tar Pit, always nice to see more of these creature lands. Enters the battlefield tapped to add blue or black. 1 blue and black to have it become a 3/2 blue and black elemental that can't be blocked until end of turn. Crack in Time, 3 and a blue for an enchantment with Vanishing 3. When it enters the battlefield at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target creature an opponent controls until Crack in Time leaves the battlefield. Grasp of Fate. When it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield. Everything Comes to Dust. 7 mana and triple white. Convoke. Exile all creatures except those that share a creature type with a creature that convokes the spell, all artifacts, and all enchantments. Dalek Squadron. The fact they've got Myriad and Menace is funny to me. And we have the 3rd Doctor as well in the Doctor Who frame. And a human. And a food. Next one up. swamp. Got the first Doctor. This is how it ends. Again, this is another scene I think I remember seeing in and around, because, I mean, being into pop culture, you can't help but absorb a little Doctor Who even if you don't watch. 3 in a black for an instant. Targeted creature's owner shuffles it into their library and then faces a villainous choice. They lose 5 life, or they shuffle another creature they own into their library. Trenzalore Clock Tower, legendary land. Tap to add blue and put a time counter on the clock tower. 1 in a blue to remove 12 time counters from the clock tower and exile it. Shuffle your graveyard, hand, and library into your graveyard and hand into your library. Then draw 7. Activate only if you control a Time Lord. Rogue's Passage. Throes of Chaos. Nissa of Traken, 3 and a blue for a legendary creature human scientist. 3/4. You have no maximum hand size. With Sonic Booster, whenever Nissa of Traken attacks, sacrifice X artifacts. When you sacrifice 1 or more artifacts this way, tap up to X target creatures and you draw X cards. The Doctor's Companion. Scattered Groves from Armorcat. The Moment. 2 mana for a legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on the moment. 2 tap, untap target creature you control. It phases out until the moment leaves the battlefield. 3 and tap, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value less than or equal to the number of time counters on the moment. Then sacrifice the moment, activate only as a sorcery. Celestial Colonnade, original Zendikar. Enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add white or blue, or 3 white and blue to have it become a 4/4 white and blue elemental creature with flying and vigilance. The 5 Doctors. Shadowblood Ridge, Sungrass Perry. The 3rd Doctor, the Master Multiplied, 4 blue and black, legendary creature Time Lord Rogue. It's a 4/3 Myriad. The legend rule doesn't apply to creature tokens you control, and triggered abilities you control can't cause you to sacrifice or exile creature tokens you control. The Dark and Cyberman. Next one up. Planes. We have the 5th Doctor, right there. Creeping Tar Pit. Explore. Parting of the Ways, 4 and 2 red for a Enchantment Saga. First chapter, exile the top 5 cards of your library. For each non-land card exiled this way, you put a number of time counters on that card equal to its mana value. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. Time travel, then time travel, and then for each opponent, destroy up to 1 target artifact that player controls. Surge of Brilliance, Donna Noble. Cursed Mirror, 2 and a red for an artifact. Tap to add red. When it enters the battlefield, you may have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it has haste. Run for Your Life, red and a blue for an instant. 1 or 2 target creatures each gain haste until end of turn. They can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. You can escape it for 2 blue and red and exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. Grasp of Fate. Cyrox Commander. Chaos Warp. This is actually cool artwork. 2 and a red for an instant. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library and then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent, they put it into onto the battlefield. Frostfair Lurefish. Jeez. 5 blue and red for a creature fish. It's a 7/7. When it enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 blue fish creature tokens and 2 tap treasures. Fish you control have haste and can't be blocked by humans, and you can foretell it for 3 and 2 blue and a red. Yasmin Khan, right there. 3 in red, legendary creature, human detective. 3/3, exile the top card until your next end step. You may play it, and Doctor's Companion. Master Formed Anew in foil, and Human Noble or food. Next one up. Oh wait, that's a rare. The 8th Doctor. 4 blue and white for a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor, 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Once during... Oh, actually, I did read this, I think. Once during each of your turns, you may play a historic or land or cast a historic permanent from your graveyard. If you do, it gains. If this permanent would leave the battlefield instead of... if it'll leave the battlefield, exile instead of putting it anywhere else. Talisman. Knight of the Doctor, 4 and 2 white for an enchantment saga with only 2 chapters. First one, destroy all creatures and then return target legendary creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put your choice of a first strike, vigilance, or lifelink counter on it. Talisman of Creativity. I love this artwork, by the way. Galfrey Council Chamber. The 13th Doctor. Wound Reflection. Nice little reprint there. 5 and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. Crack in Time. Irrigated Farmland from Amonkhet. Traverse Eternity, 2 and 2 blue for a sorcery. Draw cards equal to the highest mana value amongst historic permanents you control. Temple of Mystery. Blue-black Scryland. So, blue-green Scryland, my apologies. Run for Your Life. We have the 13th Doctor, which we've already seen before, but we got it in the Doctor Who frame. And we got a foil one. Nice. Dalek and Cyberman. Alright, next one up. This is the second last pack. More planes. Got the 10th. Doomsday Confluence. 2x in black for a sorcery. Choose X. You may choose the same mode more than once. Each player sacrifices a non-artifact creature. Create a 3/3 black Dalek with menace, and each opponent discards a card. Path to Exile. Nice. Idris, Soul of the TARDIS. 1 blue and red for a legendary creature, human incarnations, a 3/3 with vanishing 3. When Idris enters the battlefield, exile another artifact you control until Idris leaves. Idris has all activated and triggered abilities of the exiled card and gets +X, where X is the exiled card's mana value. Temple of Abandon, so the red-green Scryland. Jamie. Rockfall Vale. 3rd Doctor. Sundown Pass. Return the Past. 4 and 2 red for an enchantment. As long as it's your turn, each instant sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. Its flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. Shipwreck Marsh. Shadowblood Ridge. We have the 8th Doctor in the Doctor Who frame. And River Song. Actually, a friend of mine, back when I was in university, was a big Doctor Who fan. Actually got to meet the actress who played River, and like that's again like one of the few sort of incidental sort of exposures to Doctor Who I had. He was so happy with meeting her. I still remember that to this day. 1 blue and red for a legendary creature, human Time Lord Rogue, 2/2 with meat in reverse. You draw cards from the bottom of your library rather than the top, and spoilers. Whenever an opponent scries, surveils, or searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on River Song, then River Song deals damage to that player equal to its power. Spoilers. Again, just like small things have sort of entered sort of my personal vernacular. Oh, jeez. When it comes to Doctor Who, I wish I kind of got into it a bit more. Alright, and the last pack, but a mountain. We have the 5th. The Beast, Deathless Prince, 2 black and red for a legendary creature, demon, 6/6. When you cast a spell, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it, it gains menace and haste. It enters the battlefield tapped with 6 stun counters on it, and whenever a creature deals combat damage to its owner, untap the Beast and draw a card. The 8th Doctor, Glacial Fortress. Into the Time Vortex, where I believe we were before. Glacial Fortress enters the battlefield tapped unless you control planes or an island. Crack in Time, Temple of Malice, Black-Red Scryland. This is how it ends. Foreboding Ruins, Ashad, the Lone Cyberman. 1 blue, black, and red for a legendary artifact creature Cyberman. 3/3. The first non-legendary artifact spell you cast each turn has casualty 2. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Ashad, the Lone Cyberman. Celestial Colonnade. The Cyber Controller. X blue, blue, black, legendary artifact creature Cyberman. 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent mills X cards. Put all creature cards milled this way onto the battlefield face down under your control. There are 2/2 Cyberman artifact creatures. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. You have Missy. 3 blue, black, and red, legendary creature Time Lord Rogue. 4/5. Whenever another non-artifact creature dies, return to the battlefield under your control, face down and tapped. It's a 2/2 Cyberman. Whenever, at the beginning of your end step, each opponent faces a villain's choice. Each artifact creature you control deals 1 damage to that opponent, or you draw a card and chaos ensues. And Sarah Jane Smith. Very nice. 1 and a white, legendary creature, human detective. 2/1. When you cast a historic spell, investigate. This ability triggers only once each turn. And Doctor's Companion. And Alien Angel. And food. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe. It lets people know that I exist and I'm making this content. Mostly for my enjoyment, but hopefully you enjoy it as well. You can find me on Facebook. Links are down below. You can find me at the Planeswalker Pantheon on Facebook. And you can follow me on Twitter with those links as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.